What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chasing 100 Now podcast. And welcome to our new set, our new home of Chasing 100 Now. All right, guys, today we're going to talk about a topic that affects over 284 million people worldwide and over 25% of Americans, and that is anxiety. So many people nowadays are suffering from anxiety, and the numbers are going up drastically. And the ages are getting younger and younger, okay? So we're going to talk about what leads to anxiety, what anxiety, what it causes in people, and then also 5 tips on how to never, ever feel anxiety again in your life. All right? We ready, Shaq?
Totally ready.
Let's do it. So we're going to start off by defining anxiety, okay? So, guys, the definition of anxiety is the intense, excessive, and persistent worry about everyday situations. Now, there's a big difference between anxiety and being nervous, okay? A lot of people confuse the two. Being nervous is natural, right?
We're all nervous. We all get nervous at times.
You have if you're an athlete, before you play a big game, before, like, if I give a big speech, before I always have some nerves, take a big exam, whatever it is, a big job interview, whatever it is, moments, we have those nerves. Anxiety is a perpetual state.
Yeah, we call it chronic anxiety. Chronic anxiety is a problem. That's what leads to so many problems. It leads to depression, weight gain, substance abuse. It affects your family, your job. In some cases, believe it or not, even affects your digestive system. Even you could be eating totally well, but if you eat when you're anxious, the blood supply in your digestive system goes to the wrong places. So what I always tell people is before you eat, if you're anxious at all, take a deep inhale, take a deep exhale, and just relax for about a minute and then eat. That's what a big deal anxiety is.
Wow, it actually messes up the way you digest your food.
The way you digest food.
Wow,
yes,
okay.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. I remember you telling me once about this client you had that was like,
yeah, so this is an extreme case, but I'll make this story as quick as possible. So I had a client, she was really bad at following how to eat. She never cooked her own food. Now, before we figure out the solution to the problem, we got to diagnose the problem. So I started talking to her while I found out she hadn't gone to the grocery store since she was a small child, because when she was in the grocery store, when she was 5 years old, the lights went out for 3 minutes and she couldn't find her mother. And she was so paralyzed from fear, she has not been able to go back since. So we did a few things with her. So I took her back. I made her think back to herself as a child. I said, set the scene. We call that disassociating. Basically, you look at yourself like you're watching a movie. So you kind of take the emotion out of it. So she saw herself. She saw a picture of her in the grocery store. I go, turn it to a still picture. How do you feel for that girl? She goes, I feel empathy. Okay, great. Now I want you to take that picture, keep making it lighter, lighter, and lighter until it disappears. How do you feel now? She's like, I feel a little bit better. I go, okay, you need to do this as many times as you can every day. Do it every day, and trust me, after a while, you'll be able to go to the grocery store. And I shit you not, 2 weeks later, only 2 weeks later, she calls me. She's like, Shaquille, I couldn't believe I didn't go to the grocery store before. It's awesome. It's great. And she felt kind of foolish. No, seriously, she felt kind of foolish. But I was like,
man, Costco is amazing.
Yeah, no, exactly. But the thing is, if you don't deal with your trauma, it's always going to be there. Maybe not as extreme as her case, but it's always going to be there. Thankfully now, alhamdulillah, she cooks her own food, and I still have her do this at least once a week just so it doesn't come back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Not going to the grocery store?
She couldn't go to the grocery store.
Wow, I haven't heard that one. I've heard a lot. I mean, heights, other things that make you anxious, closed places.
So that's an extreme case of anxiety. Yeah, this is not run-of-the-mill anxiety. It's an extreme case, but you can solve anything.
But see how you can solve it.
Absolutely. Right? There's always a solution for everything.
Let me ask you though, you talked about like it leads to depression, even thoughts of suicide, obesity. I mean, so many damaging things that anxiety brings to your life. What actually causes it?
So one of the main causes is we're on our phone all the time, and we're constantly scrolling. So what scrolling does is it causes a dopamine rush. Now, the problem with dopamine is it gives you pleasure, but not contentment. This is what causes gambling. This is what causes alcohol. So you're on your phone all day.
Yeah, just that.
You're constantly on your phone, but you're doom scrolling, right? But your subconscious is still running, but you don't have a chance to let your thoughts out because you're constantly occupied with your phone. When your thoughts finally come out is when you try to go to sleep at night. That's why your mind keeps racing, because I had the same issue too. That's why you have sleeplessness, and this leads to anxiety.
Yeah. So that's a big, huge issue.
Huge issue. Nowadays, yes.
Yeah. You know, another thing that comes to mind is overthinking.
Okay, yeah, right.
We're never taught how to control our minds. Or how to
Never, no one, I've never learned that at school. I don't think anyone else has either.
Right? And it's a crazy thing because we literally live here.
Right.
Right? Like everything that happens to us, it all goes through the filter of our heads. And then we decide how we perceive it, right?
Yes.
So we don't know how to control our thoughts. So people overthink, right? And so they let their minds run wild, right? And so that brings them so much anxiety because they're always worried.
Another thing is social isolation. If you remember during COVID, when they locked us all in, how many people had mental health problems that still are problems today from COVID?
Haven't even gotten out of that because they developed habits, being alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we need people.
We need people.
We need people, man.
I don't care who says you don't need people. You need people.
You need people. You need family. You need community.
Right.
Right? And I think in the modern world, you know, we're missing that. We're missing those old traditional connections, right? Another one is this feeling of helplessness.
This is different than a victim mentality, right?
No. Yeah, it's different. That's a different thing. This is a helplessness. This is like, I don't know what to do. I can't fix this.
In reality, that's never the case.
Exactly. We could always.
I don't like looking at problems. I just look at solutions. Like if someone tells me a problem, I'll take 2 seconds thinking about the problem. Let's move on to the solution.
Exactly. But people get stuck in the problem, and then then they feel helpless.
100%, yes. It never is like that. It never should be like that.
Exactly. So Shaq, we've talked about what causes anxiety, what it leads to, what are the effects of anxiety. You told the story about an extreme case of someone with anxiety. Now let's talk about, what we're going to do now is talk about 5 tips. 5 tips that where you guys can never ever feel anxious again, okay? 5 ways you can get rid of anxiety for the rest of your life. Right?
So number 1, you need to take out time to just be silent. None of us do this anymore. We don't have time to even take a shit in most cases. So what's your...
Bro, come on, let's be serious.
No, I'm being serious.
No. I'm saying, let's be serious. Okay. Do you take your phone?
I do. I absolutely do. I know all y'all do.
It's so true, and I know every single person watching does it.
They all do it. Okay.
What else am I gonna do? We used to read the ingredients on the side of the bottle.
Okay. So what you need, number 1, is you need some silence, and what I mean is you gotta take at least 10 minutes a day. Sit in a room, dark, close your eyes, and don't think of anything. This is key. Don't think of anything. Because your subconscious has been, instead of coming out at night when you sleep, your thoughts will come out now. And then you'll be able to deal with your problems. You'll see the problems that you didn't even know you had, and you'll be able to deal with them in a positive way. And I tell people to do it in the morning. That way you start your day off on a positive note.
So it's like really like almost giving your body space. Yeah, so like things kind of can flow.
Yes.
But if you're just like this all the time, all day, I mean...
And that's most people. That's almost everybody. When I tell, you know what I'm saying? When I tell people to take 10 minutes a day, they're like, what? Like they can't even imagine that. Like, and everyone has 10 minutes a day. I don't care what you say. Everybody has 10 minutes a day.
Especially in the modern world where we're just taught to go. That's actually one of the reasons why, you know, I moved to South America, right? Or, you know, because it's the pace of life is slower there.
People there are a lot happier.
A lot more human.
A lot human and happier, yes.
Okay, so quiet time. Okay. I would add to that, number 2 is, I would say, take action.
Yes.
Whenever you guys feel anxious, take action. Like, we feel anxious because we're worrying about something. When we actually start doing that something, the anxiety goes away because we're busy. Yes. We're taking action. We're moving. I write, right? So I'm coming out with a new book soon. And I remember every time I think about writing, I get anxious. But when I actually do it, it's no problem. When I just start getting to it, the anxiety goes away because I'm busy, right? So anytime you feel anxious, take action.
Number 3, another thing that kills anxiety is being creative. So
that's interesting.
You're being creative because the anxiety part of your brain is the left part of your brain, and the creative side is the right side. Those two cannot coexist at all. So when you're feeling anxious, do something creative. Paint, draw, dance, sing. Do something, play sports. Yes, you can even play sports.
Because that's how some people,
Try it yourself. And I've done this before. It is literally impossible to do both at the same time. So do something creative, whatever that might be.
Super interesting you say that, because everything you just mentioned, I don't paint.
Right. Terrible pain.
Right. You're not Van Gogh.
But I do, I do,
Play sports.
dance here and there.
Yeah, dance.
Sing, play sports, move.
As you've never seen anyone dance and be anxious. Well, unless you're terrible at dancing. Let's change the subject. Okay? Or even exercising.
Yeah.
Exercising is so good. Like, there was a study, right, that showed that exercising in most cases is better for people's mental health than taking prescription drugs, which is insane.
And that actually, I think that's actually what I was going to mention. Point number 4 is movement.
Yes, movement.
Body movement,
Yes.
right? Physical movement removes your anxiety, right? When you go exercise, how many people are on the treadmill? You know what I'm saying? You're busy. Oh my God, I'm so worried about my,
So it's crazy you mentioned that. So I actually have a good friend who's a psychiatrist, and they told me to get rid of a panic attack, sprint for 30 seconds. I thought about it, like, it makes sense.
It's almost counterintuitive because in a panic attack, that's
No, go for a sprint for 30 seconds, your panic attack's done. They had clients that did it. And I trust experts.
Take your word for it. Listen.
But even if you're nervous.
we're not responsible for whatever you do. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but even try it. If you're anxious, go for see what happens. Go for a walk. I walk every morning. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you do. You walk every morning.
I walk every
right?
morning, and I have no anxiety.
Man, yeah, that's
True. And honestly, bro, you know what's interesting? You say that, bro. This is an interesting conversation, to be honest, because I notice even because I work out 5 days a week,
right.
But the 2 days I don't work out,
you don't.
I have more.
Absolutely.
I have more like sleeplessness.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, because when you're tired, you physically tired, you sleep. Anyway, all right, guys. So that's number 4. Number 5, for me, it's like a couple of things.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, there's really 6. But anyway, number 5 is have faith. I'll give you an example. A few years back, 70% of my revenue was coming from one main big client. Out of nowhere, he messages me one day and says, "Hey, Adnan, thanks for your service. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this contract next month." And I was like,
Yeah, shocked.
okay, wow.
Yeah.
So now I got to figure out the 70% of my revenue. But guess what? I didn't get anxious. You know why?
Why?
Because I have faith.
God bless. Yeah, no.
I believe in God's plan. I know that whatever happens, to me, happens for a reason.
Always.
And so when God removes one client, it's just He's leading me to another.
Yes.
And so that faith gives me a lot of peace. And so when you have that strong faith, and guys, don't buy into this godless society that's being pushed down your throat. We're God-fearing people. We're God-conscious people. And faith is super important. In particular for anxiety, I've never felt anxiety because of that.
Well, at one time in your life, I'm sure you were anxious.
Of course.
But you didn't have the faith you have now.
Yeah. I mean, I learned to, to control that, right? Yeah. So that's that. And then I think, man, the last thing, number 6 is controlling your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Taking control of your mind, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, your client, in that extreme case,
Took control of her mind.
she took control of her mind. She, told herself what she needed to hear, right? And she quieted that other voice,
Yes.
right?
That negative voice.
I always say, don't listen to yourself, talk to yourself.
That's great. That's great, yeah.
Whenever those negative things come in your mind, I replace them with positive thoughts.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people, I tell a lot of people also to some people have these thoughts all the time. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a loser. I always say, as soon as you hear that voice, that negative voice, turn the volume off. The second it starts talking, just turn it completely off. And like you said, replace it with something positive. That's really important.
Yeah. That's good. That's good that you said that. I've never heard that before. Like, you just kind of, literally, it's almost like you're mentally, like you're...
Yeah, and that happens to me very rarely now, but when it does, I won't even hear a second of that voice. It's already done, gone. I don't hear anything anymore. I'm good. I'm great. Yeah, because we all get that sometimes. This is how you can handle it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, guys, I hope you appreciated the 6 tips. I think if you really, really adopt those 6 tips, you'll be able to solve your anxiety.
Absolutely. So guys, remember, please like and subscribe our podcast. If you liked anything about it, that's the only way this podcast grows. And please share it with amazing people that you think could benefit from it.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Bye.